The first tune I can remember that I actually wrote that was scripted was in the early 70s. That was back when I was playing mostly R&B music, and it was an R&B tune. And I remember the title. It was called "The Time Is Now." And I think I probably back then had a girl in mind, and I'm thinking that it's time for us to get together. But I remember that tune. Along with the music, I wrote the lyrics. I'm not a singer, but I kind of envision somebody like Teddy Pendergrass singing it. It was never published, never recorded. So many composers have influenced me. Classical composers, even the pop R&B composers, some of the Detroit guys like Holland Dozier Holland. So many jazz composers have had more of an impact on my writing and playing. And also there are certain arrangers who have influenced me. People like Nelson Riddle, Quincy Jones, Don Sebesky, Henry Mancini. I can remember listening to some of their arrangements and just being in awe. And I still think of those guys today and how they have influenced how I write my music. What tunes of mine are in the current Philadelphia Real Book, its first edition? The title tune of my last CD, My Kind of Blues, is in that edition, and also another tune from my first CD, Sitting on a Secret, and the name of that tune is The Promise. I wrote The Promise probably a few years before I wrote My Kind of Blues. I'm thinking I wrote The Promise maybe 7 or 8 years ago. I'm sure it took me a while to develop the ideas. Probably, I would say, maybe a month for The Promise. And My Kind of Blues, it's hard to say because I have a tendency to work on more than one tune at a time, so I'll write a section of one tune, put it to the side, maybe work on something else. This goes over a period of time, so I can't say specifically how long it took me to write My Kind of Blues, but it's kind of a fun tune, so I'm thinking maybe a few weeks, maybe about a month. I would say to students who want to improvise on my tunes in the Real Book, the tune My Kind of Blues is, I would describe it as a blues with a bridge. Most jazz musicians, if you call it blues, normally it's a 12-bar blues, so if you think a typical blues structure with a bridge, then you kind of have the gist of what My Kind of Blues is about. The Promise, in stark contrast, is a ballad. Its A section is in a slow 4/4 feel, and then the bridge goes into a 6/8 feel. So I think navigating that transition from 4/4 to 6/8 might be the most challenging part of improvising on The Promise. Tonight I'm featuring Stan Slaughter on trumpet and flute, Chris Simonini on piano, and Eric Johnson on drums. Tonight is a challenge for me because most of my songs have always been performed in their complete arrangement, which is normally a sextet. Tonight we're just featuring a quartet. So, along with drums and piano, I have one person that's going to double on trumpet and flute. That's Stan Slaughter. He's the main reason why I chose him for this particular gig, because most of my songs either feature flute or trumpet, maybe sax. So he'll be playing a lot of trumpet and flute features. Chris Simonini, great young piano player. I chose him because just a sweet guy. He likes my music, which is encouraging to me because I don't want guys to just see it as a gig. It's nice to know that the guys are really into what they're performing. And Eric Johnson on drums. I've worked with Eric quite a few times in the studio, and he's a solid drummer, plays all styles, so easy to get along with, and it's, it's just, when I work with him, I know it's going to be right.